Welcome to Tiff Talks. I'm Tiff, and today we're talking about rhythm and this concept of contraction and expansion. And this week we are fast approaching what is known as summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, and those of you who are in the southern hemisphere are experiencing winter solstice. So summer solstice, let's talk about the word solstice. It's traced back to the word sistere, which is connected to stillness of the sun. So sun stands still. And in the northern hemisphere, it's when the sun is farthest north, which means we have the longest day of the year. And that's opposite for the southern hemisphere. But in the northern hemisphere, when we step back and really think of these rhythms that are happening outside of us, right? These rhythms that are happening in nature. And if we think about it from a mathematical standpoint, on a graph, like a sine wave, we'd have the winter solstice at the bottom part of that graph, and summer solstice is at the apex or the top. So it's this expansive, it's the inhale part of the year. It's the top of the inhale where everything is expanding, where the light is pushing out and creating more and more opportunities to see more clearly, to expand into unlimited potential, to really look in all directions and tap into what we're grateful for. So this time of the year has a ton of power and a ton of opportunity to give us a reflection of, oh, I have that inside of me. I have that potential of expanding that much, right, to my absolute limits and beyond within me. And so as we, as humans or human nature, reflect nature, we start to understand that our bodies and our minds and our hearts and our souls are also moving through these different rhythms. We're not supposed to be expanded all the time. We're not supposed to be contracted all the time. But we do want to maintain this healthy flow of rhythm and alignment with these greater rhythms so that we can tap into a healthy pulse, right? So we have times of great triumph, of great celebration, of great excitement and energy. And then we also have those times, especially during winter solstice in the winter months of the year, where we go into concealment. We have to go in and retreat and really turn within to gain our power so that we can come into full power. When we can start to acknowledge this in a really mindful and intentional way, when we acknowledge the seasonal patterns and fluctuations, when we acknowledge the rising and setting of the sun, when we acknowledge the waxing and waning of the moon, we realize that we're in greater accordance and greater synergy with everything around us so that we can start to attune our inner world with the outer world, our inner landscape and inner path with the outer path of action and movement forward. And when we continue to do this over time and find more of that alignment, then we know when we're leading from that place of deeper knowing. We can make decisions from that place that says, that feels more in sync. It feels more in flow with my passions, with my values, with what is important to me. And so we continually traverse our lives in a way that's more mindful and intentional and powerful, which then translates into us being able to remove any stagnation that limits us from really actualizing the lives that we want to. It enables us to clear anything out of the way that doesn't serve us. It enables us to open to new possibilities and realize that potential that may have been dormant inside of us. It enables us to connect more, right, in a more authentic way with those around us and create better relationships so that we can move forward in a more connected and holistic way. And it allows us to really live into the wealth of possibility and the wealth of what is awaiting for us, this abundance that awaits each of us once we find that true alignment. So it's about really paying attention and acknowledging these very important fluctuations that happen on a micro level all the way to a macro level. And doing so in a way where you're saying, wow, I acknowledge this greater pattern that is happening, this greater rhythm. And I also acknowledge that that same rhythm is happening within me, because when we really think about it, there is no separation, right? We are interconnected with everything around us. Therefore, the more in tune we can be, the more we tune, it's like an orchestra. The more we tune our instrument, the more incredible that orchestra and that sound is going to be from the orchestra. So one thing you can do very simply during this week of summer solstice, which occurs on Thursday, July 20th, the particular time of the solstice happens at 1:50 in the planetary rhythms, but you can get up at sunrise to really honor that light coming in and filling up the longest day of the year. So you could get up before dawn and sit as the light really comes in, and even when the sun hits your face, you could just sit in silence. You could do a guided meditation, which I have recorded one, and you can head to the link in the description to get a meditation that you can do during the morning. But really, the intention is to synergize the light expanding outside of you with the light expanding within you. You could take that time to write down your intentions for the remainder of the year or even the next few months. You could write down a long list of things you're grateful for, looking back the last 6 months all the way back to winter solstice in December. What things have happened? What lessons have you learned to bring you to this point of full expansion? We all go through triumphs, we go through celebrations, we go through deep challenge, we go through grief and struggle, but all of these are lessons for us to evolve and become. You could just spend the day in the sun, or an hour or 2 hours just allowing the sun to penetrate your skin and receiving that kind of solar energy. It's almost like you're getting charged as we head into what will now be the waning time of the year. We're now moving into the darkest time of the year after summer solstice. So you're kind of charging your batteries to get you ready and infused with the light so that you can maintain that throughout the dark times of the year. You could do simple things like wearing yellow or gold, or listen to music that energizes you and uplifts you and brings you into a state of expansion and excitement. If you have kids, you can make sun cookies or sun pancakes or sunny side up eggs, or go out and let them create a mandala in the grass outside. There's so many ways you can just tune into this solar energy, but you want to allow it to really amplify you, to give you that motivation, to give you this full surge of power, to remind you of your extraordinary magic within. And so remember, this is about aligning our inner world with our outer world and bringing ritual back into practice so that we can feel more engaged with the pulse of life and feel more in flow and clear to make decisions moving forward for our lives. So head to the link below to download the meditation to do anytime this week. Send me a DM, let me know what your ideas are, but may you have a wonderful, expansive, radiant summer solstice.